Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today we'll have a short introduction to the categories of the verb. This lesson will provide you with a general picture, which I'll further expound in the upcoming lessons. We'll be talking about three categories of the verb today, which are tense, aspect, and mood. There are some other categories you might have heard of, like number and gender, but they mostly characterize nouns and adjectives. English verbs don't have a category of gender. Verbs in English don't have special endings that would show what the gender of the doer of this action is. Like in Ukrainian, for example, in the past tense, verbs inflect in gender. Let's take the verb to help, which is допомагати. In the past, you will say я допомагав, ми допомагали, ви допомагали, він допомагав, вона допомагала, воно допомагало, вони допомагали. You see, verbs in Ukrainian change depending whether the doer of the action in the past is a man or a woman, or if it is a thing. In English, verbs do not inflect in gender. Neither do they inflect in person. Let's take an Italian verb aiutare, to help. You will say io aiuto, tu aiuti, lui, lei aiuta, noi aiutiamo, voi aiutate, loro aiutano. But English verbs change in three categories, which are tense, aspect, and mood, which are crucial for proper expression of thoughts. Today, I invite you to take a closer look at these categories. Let's begin. Tense, aspect, and mood. These are the three categories in which we can change verbs in English. Let's start with the first one, which is tense, from Latin tempus, meaning time. Tenses show the position of actions or states in time. In general, we speak of three tenses: present, past, and future. Let's look at the timeline. We can divide it into three separate sections, or three separate rooms, if you wish. The room of the past, the room of the present, and the room of the future. Each of these big tenses is subdivided into four subtenses, or grammatical tenses, depending on what quality or aspect of action they describe. Aspects express how actions or states denoted by a verb extend over time. Every tense in English has four aspects: simple, progressive, perfect, and perfect progressive. Let's look at this example. I eat veggies every day. The verb eat is in present tense of simple aspect, i.e., it expresses a simple action repeated every day at present. So we have the present simple tense, I eat. This combination, tense plus aspect, forms 12 different tense formulas. And as I have already said, we call them the grammatical tenses of English. Here is the table of the 12 active grammatical tenses of English. Each of them is a combination of tense plus aspect. For example, if we combine the present tense with a progressive aspect, we get the present progressive tense. If we combine the past tense with a perfect aspect, we have the past perfect tense. If we combine the future tense with the perfect continuous aspect, we will get the future perfect continuous tense, and so on and so forth. Now here is the same table with formulas for each of these 12 grammatical tenses. Eventually, you'll have to learn all of these formulas by heart. Let's look at some examples. The present simple tense is the present tense plus the simple aspect. For example, I eat veggies every day. The present progressive grammatical tense is the present tense plus the progressive aspect. I am eating veggies now. The past progressive tense is the past tense plus the progressive aspect. For example, I was canning some veggies when he came. The present perfect tense is the present tense plus the perfect aspect. I have already eaten everything. The future perfect tense is the future tense plus the perfect aspect. I will have eaten all the veggies in the fridge by then. And the future perfect progressive tense is the future tense plus the perfect progressive aspect. By the time he comes, I will have already been canning veggies for 2 hours. The third category of the verb is mood. So what is mood? The quality of a verb that conveys the speaker's attitude toward an action, event, or situation. In general, there are 3 types of ideas that we might want to express: factual statements, requirements and commands, and wishes, desires, expectations, and suggestions. This means that there are 3 main moods. The indicative mood, which is used to make factual statements. The imperative mood, which is used to give orders and commands. And the subjunctive mood, which is used to express things which are contrary to fact. These are wishes, desires, doubts, demands, suggestions, things like that. Let's look at some examples of the indicative mood. The sun rises in the east. Anne's favorite color is white. There was no furniture in the room. They have never been to Australia. It will snow soon. All these sentences are statements. They state different facts. The sun rises in the east is a generally known fact. Anne's favorite color is white is a fact the speaker knows about Anne. There was no furniture in the room is a fact the speaker witnessed. They have never been to Australia is a fact from their biography. It will snow soon, a fact the speaker knows about the approaching winter. So, the indicative mood helps us speak about facts, describe reality, and express things which are real. Let's look at the sentences once again and decide what the aspect, the tense, and the mood in each of these cases is. The sun rises in the east. This is the present tense, the simple aspect, and the indicative mood. Anne's favorite color is white. The present tense, the simple aspect, and the indicative mood. There was no furniture in the room, the past tense, the simple aspect, and the indicative mood. They have never been to Australia, the present tense, the perfect aspect, and the indicative mood. It will snow soon, the future tense, the simple aspect, the indicative mood. Let's do a little exercise. There are 3 tenses, present, past, and future, and 3 aspects and 1 mood used in this passage. What are they? I came home before dawn yesterday. The household had already been sleeping for a while. Only my sister's cat was keeping the night watch, as he usually does, till the very sunrise. I was mortally tired, but still could not fall asleep. I had never had any sleep problems before I moved to the city, but now it's been almost a year of these meaningless wanderings down the streets of the sleeping city. Will I ever sleep again? It's not the worst idea to write this passage down and then return back to the video. Let's look at these sentences together. I came home before dawn yesterday. The main verb or the predicate is came. It's the past tense, the simple aspect, the indicative mood. The household had already been sleeping for a while. It's the past tense, the perfect progressive aspect, and the indicative mood. Only my sister's cat was keeping the night watch. The past tense, the progressive aspect, the indicative mood. And the second half of the sentence, as he usually does till the very sunrise, does is the present tense, the simple aspect, the indicative mood. I was mortally tired, but still could not fall asleep. Both predicates are in the past tense of the simple aspect in the indicative mood. I had never had any sleep problems before I moved to the city. It's the past tense, the perfect aspect, the indicative mood. But now it's been almost a year of these meaningless wanderings down the streets of the sleeping city. It's been the present tense, the perfect aspect, the indicative mood. Will I ever sleep again? The future tense, the simple aspect, the indicative mood. Now, here is a question to you. How many grammatical tenses are there in the text? And the answer is... As you might have noticed, the majority of things that we need to say are in the indicative mood, because this is the mood in which we describe our reality. You speak about your day, your past, your plans in the indicative mood using appropriate tenses. But sometimes, though, we need to express other things. For example, we need to give orders or commands. We need to request something from somebody. For these purposes, we use the imperative mood. The imperative mood, from Latin imperare, to command. For example, give me that pen. That's a request, yeah? Let's look at some more examples. Don't take any pictures. It's a prohibition. Stand up, an order or a command. Do not disturb, please, a polite request. We distinguish two types of imperatives in English, positive and negative. And imperatives in English don't change in tenses. Let's compare the sentences in indicative and imperative moods. You work hard, indicative, positive. Work hard, imperative, positive. You are not late, indicative, negative. Don't be late, imperative, negative. So, you work hard. I state a fact. That is, my sentence is in the indicative mood, and it's positive. You are not late. Again, I state the fact. The sentences with exclamation marks are imperatives, though work hard, don't be late. I command it. So, the indicative mood is used for facts in our life. The imperative mood is used to give orders. But what do we use to express wishes, expectations, and desires? The answer is the subjunctive mood. I think that's a favorite topic of the majority of English students. The subjunctive mood is used to express wishes, desires, suggestions, expectations, doubts, regrets, and other ideas contrary to reality. That is, hypothetical or desired. Let's compare the sentences. I was born in London. It's the indicative mood. I wish I were born in London is a subjunctive mood. I wish I were born, but I was not born in London. I was born in a different city. So the subjunctive mood helps us express something desired, but not real. It is snowing, it's the indicative mood. I wish it weren't snowing is a subjunctive mood. I express my wish or my desire. My desire or my wish is contrary to what we have in reality. She can't swim, the indicative mood. I just state a fact that she cannot swim. If only she could swim, the subjunctive mood. I express my regret and my wish. Somebody living in Manitoba could probably say, if only we lived in a warmer place. If only the winters were less snowy. I wish I had been born in Spain. Winters here would be much more pleasant if they were a bit shorter. All of these statements are contrary to reality, and that's why they all contain the subjunctive mood. Let's sum up what we have learned in this short lesson. And to check ourselves, let's answer these questions. How many active tenses are there in English? 12. How many verb aspects are there in English? 4. How many moods are there in English? 3 main moods. Define the tense aspect mood of the following sentence. I have never been so happy in my whole life. The present tense, the perfect aspect, and the indicative mood. Congratulations to those of you who answered all of these questions. Well done! This lesson was introductory. Next time we'll proceed with a series of lessons on the grammatical tenses of the English language. There will be 3 big lessons. Then, of course, we'll have to speak about moods separately because it's also a huge and a very interesting topic. If you have any questions, please leave them down below and see you in the next lesson.